Welcome to Being Confident from Within with Natalie Potts, the podcast that shares what it really takes to be confident. I'm passionate about helping people grow businesses with confidence. Does it seem like everyone around you is naturally confident and sure of themselves? Well, the chances are they have self-doubts just like you. I'm in conversations with inspiring individuals to share what confidence means to them and to help you find ways to believe in yourself and create confidence at any time. Bradley, thank you so much for joining me. Let's kick off by sharing a little bit about yourself, what you do, and I guess what interested you about joining this podcast today.
Appreciate you having me. Thanks for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
So what do I do on a day-to-day basis? So I'm a youth worker. So I work with young people. At the moment, I'm helping young people get into employment, education, or training. On the side, I've decided to study life coaching. So I'm a current coaching academy student. And in terms of trying to jump onto this podcast, it was the opportunity was there. This kind of what we're going to speak about is actually part of why I took this opportunity to come on, because I want to increase my confidence,
Brilliant.
put myself out there.
Yeah.
Equally, just have a good conversation. I do love a good podcast.
I love that. Have you been on any others?
No, so this is the first one.
Nice. Look at that. So let's talk that through though, because it's really interesting, because it does take confidence to come on. And especially we haven't actually connected face-to-face and even in a virtual way like this. We've spoken through voice notes, etc., which some people really struggle with in itself, just doing a voice note. So what was maybe some of the fears or the thoughts, imposter syndrome, procrastination that you maybe had going on before as one point, and what's it taken to get you to a point of I just need to do this and take action now?
I think in terms of the fears, I would say being relatively young, I guess I still have that mindset that I've still got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Like compared to a lot of other people. So like, why would someone want to listen to a young person?
Yeah.
Especially in a kind of field where I know that life coaching, although age-wise it's broad, it's a very experienced in terms of those who I'm kind of seeing and witnessing and interacting with. So that's the kind of, I guess, fear behind that. But in terms of how I'm like kind of dealing with it, it's within my kind of mentality that, you know, you've just got to get things done if you want to develop. I do have a very kind of developmental mindset. You know, I always want to move forward. I actually do not like the comfort zone. I think that's probably more of a fear of mine than being in the comfort zone. So when I'm in the comfort zone, I feel stagnant, and I do not like stagnancy. I like to know that I'm moving forward.
I love that. I love it. Where do you feel in life that you are maybe a little bit stagnant and you need to get out into, we would say, the stretch zone as such?
That is a great question, and I do have an answer. So definitely networking and public speaking, because I love talking to people, and I am good at speaking to people once I'm engaged in that conversation.
Yeah.
I always feel like I've got something that's relevant to say. Equally, I'm a great listener, I think. So I kind of have those good traits, and I just need to kind of own that and take it into that kind of a greater network. So yeah, networking and public speaking are the two kind of things where I'm quite stagnant at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. And it all starts with awareness, right? I know I talk about this quite a lot. You've seen it, that you've got to have that understanding of knowing yourself really well. And I think that's confidence too, is knowing what you do. I guess we've stemmed off a little bit. What does confidence mean to Bradley?
So I would say first and foremost, to me, it is a skill, because it can be taught, it can be learned. Equally, someone can teach it as well. It's kind of an ongoing thing as well. You're never gonna have an answer for it for the rest of your life. It's basically whatever's happening in your life at the moment. So it's society based, you know, and environmental based, like who you surround yourself with, what challenges you're facing. But generically, Kind of to sum it up in one term, I think it's the ability to be yourself in any given situation.
I love that. Yeah. It's so interesting doing the challenge of, because it's like, for me, you talk about being comfort zone and everything. And I always say, I always think I come across quite naturally confident, as I say quite a bit, but it's again, putting myself out there. And this does that, saying I'm going to do 30 podcasts across a month, or 31 days, post and go all in on it and talk about it, connect with different people. I've got to be keeping my, I poorly did it with you, so I apologize, but keeping to time is a challenge. You're looking at, like you say, your skills, etc. But you're constantly then going into a zone of, especially when I don't know people very well, it's like, oh gosh. But I do find, like you, I love just talking to people, and I know what I love and enjoy and do really well. And I think this is the bit what I was speaking about with a guy called Mike Cole last week, that he's like, just focus on your strengths and what you do really well. And that's the point, is working on what I do well, which is connecting with people, listening, like you say. So where you talk about the idea of maybe not feeling, I'll use your language, a kind of, what did you say, is not feeling enough, or that you haven't got everything that you need in terms of that life experience, but because you're young and why would people want to listen to me? But everybody has value to offer, and everybody can make a difference in someone's life, and it's about finding the right people, like you say, the environments to do that. And I would challenge it, if you aren't feeling that, you have a look around the people around you. It's like the saying that, surround yourself with successful people, and you will start raising your game, and you'll start thinking like that. It definitely, and the other's true, isn't it? If you're with people that aren't and pull you down. So the idea of food, if you're going to eat, go to someone and all they do is eat McDonald's every day, you're probably going to start eating McDonald's every day. That's just going to happen. It's just, there's no judgment there. It's the reality of the situation you're in. So I think that part of, like you say, knowing yourself, the environment, the skills you got, and being around people that make you feel that, I have got this. And that's that part of the point that, if you're lacking a bit of knowledge or experience somewhere, having people that believe in you around you, and that, you can do this. Let's just look at that and embrace that, an attitude of, I can do this. What does it look like? That you're not going to maybe know it straight away. You're not going to be perfect. And that's a big idea that comes to it in a minute, that done is better than perfect. Kind of driving through those thoughts and those ideas is what can help bring more confidence to your life. What would you say are some reflections coming through for you with that?
I think the one thing, first of all, I agree with all of that, like surrounding yourself with like the people that are gonna, sometimes lift you up when you don't feel so down, because they are aware of what you have as well. I think one thing that did catch me there was the use of that perfection. It's more of a me thing. I think like that in itself is like a bit of a, how do I put it in the right words? I feel like sometimes if you chase perfection, it's like chasing a false fallacy, for example. Because what is perfection, and I think that comes back to having that environment and stuff where people can just sit there and be like, perfection doesn't exist. You are who you are. You're going to continue a journey. Life is a journey itself, and to kind of put you back on the ground, so to speak, but equally lift you up. So like if I was to go to my friend, for example, I feel like I can do better, but I'm not perfect in this like life coaching journey, for example. I would want that my friend to be like, perfection doesn't exist. Just keep doing what you're doing, Bradley. You've done this X, Y, and Z, like laying it out visually. Like what we do as coaches, and is like you utilizing like specific examples. But to kind of obviously constrict that, it's just that environment is so important, and I'll definitely resonate with that one. But equally, I just thought on the perfection note, I think that's a society thing, isn't it? The whole like, you must be perfect at this, but perfection, I guess, if you believe you're perfect, then I guess you believe you got no more to learn.
Yeah.
Which is intriguing, isn't it?
And it is, because we always say like great coaches are always learning, and we should be always learning. It's really important, because no one ever, in essence, no one ever gets there. It's just not the thing. It doesn't, it's just what we think happens. And it's really interesting. Who, maybe someone you know, or someone that you'd like to share in terms of what they do, who has a type of confidence that you would like to have? Not saying you're going to be like someone else, but that you see something and think, I'd like a bit more of that. How could I bring that into my world?
No, definitely. I don't have anyone specifics. I think I'm a very analytical person, and I kind of see how people have these different qualities that I could have.
Yeah.
So for example, my friendship groups, and like my mum, for example. And one thing that I did learn from my mum, which I've actually become more conscious of as I got older, because obviously, you just develop and your brain develops, etc. Is how she has this knack. When I was like 18, for example, I'm now 26, just to contextualize it. She used to always randomly say hello to people on the streets. Used to always, like, especially with parents who had babies, she would say, like, the baby was doing, like, smiling at her, she would smile back, say, like, hello, how are you? And then she would engage with a conversation with the parent.
Yeah.
And I always remember, like, questioning her after that, like, why do you do that? I was just so confused. But then now I understand it, because it doesn't hurt to be kind.
No.
Society needs it. Equally, there's no harm in speaking to someone. That's the kind of confidence that I got from her. Just because someone's a stranger doesn't mean you can't speak to them.
Yeah.
So I now have that same approach. I'm happy to speak to anyone that I'm walking across the street. I will probably, if a young person, for example, is like smiling at me or whatever, like, hey, how are you? Like, you're okay. Taking those kind of minor social skills from her, but then that social skills obviously is a confidence thing to actually do it. In terms of that, I've got friends that are very vocal, and I think vocal is quite a big thing for me personally on a confidence level. How vocals link with body language, I'll actually put them together.
Okay.
So they're saying something, but then they're saying and believing it. So when you speak to someone, like maintaining eye contact, kind of shoulders up, chest out, really believing in what you're saying and what you're speaking about. Obviously, some people can't, like, feel they can't do that because of anxiety and stuff, which is obviously a different conversation. But personally, I don't suffer with them, so I kind of keep that in my mind, that if you're going to come across as confident, then maintain that eye contact, be very, very vocal, speak clearly, chest out, and obviously that helps. It's all to do, it all interlinks. So they're the kind of things I've got from my friends, I've got from my mum, that I kind of use going forward. I think the last thing is reading. I know it's not a personal, as in a person. I mean, the person's writing the book. So, and for example, Robert Greene, The Human Nature. I've been reading that recently.
Yeah.
Really, really good book. Just talking about the confidence and all different types of things, and how humans kind of approach situations, kind of learning from all those kind of elements, and trying to put it all together into me.
Yeah, it's really interesting what you show there. And I've been doing, if you've seen, like a bit of a challenge, like 21 days, and one of them in that was around body posture. And there's a lady, Amy Cuddy, who does she has a TED talk actually on it, about kind of, it's more about fake it to make it idea, but also, and none of this is right or wrong, but I think a lot of it is just sometimes finding what works for you. And this idea, I remember doing a CPD day on confidence, and they got us walking around the room, like really like body posture, like flat, really like hello, no, like you said, no eye contact to anybody, look at the floor, not really engaged, deliberately not saying anything. And then talking about there was about, like, I don't know, 50 of us. And then it was like, what's the energy in the room? What's reflections? And everyone was like, somber, miserable, everything like you feel. Then you had to go around the room, like chest up, shoulders back, good
Yeah.
projection of voice, hello, you know, what would you naturally do, shake their hands or hug, whatever felt natural. Great eye contact when you were talking, and the energy shift in the room was just insane. You can imagine it was almost like raucous compared to that, and it was just phenomenal to notice the difference. And that's where what I'm loving as well, coming from this week, it was a lot last week speaking with people on confidence around vulnerability, environment. There's so much coming through this week with the idea of energy, the confidence as well, and how that naturally inspires other people, etc. So you can think, well, that's again talking about people around you, we're talking about the qualities of what people possess, and it's all that time. And I know that so many people have responded to taking action, because I get them taking an action every day, the body posture thing, and just saying the difference it made, or maybe their reflection, or maybe what they noticed throughout their day because of that. And that comes back to this idea of knowing yourself really well. Like I said, what works for you, what doesn't. And it's like my morning routine's it's generally quite routine. I don't like it so set anymore, because I think it becomes a chore, some of it. But I like to get up, I like to feel good, do my exercise, I like to, you know, have good breathing techniques. It makes me feel better. Good body posture I'm aware of. All of these things make such a difference to how we show up in our state, and therefore how we have the impact to influence and impact others in a positive way. And likewise, I guess we know instantly the difference it can make when we're the opposite, which is probably naturally what we think to default negative, and when people want to pull us down. But it's that the real emphasis and encouragement that when people pull you up, like you said, you want to be around people that pull you up, and you want to be that person that does that. It makes such a difference to what you achieve in life.
100%. Honestly, I agree with the whole thing there.
That could be a book, right?
I mean, you could put Natalie Potts the confidence book. Yeah, you could do that.
It's one day.
I'll be very honest with you though as well. Like, I'm learning from yourself as well. Actually, to be honest, I do love your whole presence on the social media.
Thank you. Yeah, I think, and that's just doing what we do well, isn't it? And I think that what I love is working with people, and I realized that from leaving very much like the corporate world, where I led people and worked with people on their development all the time. So I miss that side of things, you know, inspiring people to see what they don't, you know, seeing potential what they don't see, and celebrating what we're great at is really important. Who's been your best? I know you mentioned about your mum playing such a key role in confidence. Who else has been a very good mentor in your life, and why?
So this one is pretty easy for me. So it's my PE teacher from school.
Okay.
I actually still speak to him to this day.
Wow.
Yeah. We had a pint in the Weatherspoons literally about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Reason being is, I've always loved sports, and obviously PE was my lesson. And I've worked in schools as well, and it kind of works in the context that PE is always that outlet, isn't it? Because it's physical, it's exercise, it's you know, that frustration just comes out. I think a lot of my frustrations were coming out through that, and obviously I was going through kind of a tough time at the moment, and he was just always the one there, like being supportive, encouraging, showing empathy. I think to some of the key things that he taught me are like very, very basic, but key, we can call them skills or social skills in life. Like apologizing for a mistake. He would like ban me for a football game, and then I would have to apologize. And obviously, being that young, you do not want to apologize. You're like, you know what? No, I'm not apologizing to you. I'm a young little brute. I'm not going to do that. And I remember like, no one around me was telling me to apologize, and I just know that it's the right thing to do. Like, an apology goes a long way. He taught me all that. He would question me in front of people. He picked his moments very, very, very well, and that's something I've taken from him. Like, he would take me to the side, have a one-to-one conversation. He would shout at me in front of the football boys if I'm like questioning like his decision or sometimes I would shout and swear at him. You know, as a school kid shouting to a student, you know, you're meant to respect like your teacher. You know, like all those kind of things. He kind of ingrained into me. And I remember when I left, I wrote him a letter just to say thank you. remember putting it like that he was the like Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo called Ferguson his father figure.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's what you were for me during that period. And then we kept in contact since. It's just, yeah, I can't speak more. I can't speak more highly of him, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot more I can say, but
Yeah.
kind of sum up those two, like a few key things that he's engraved into me, like the apologies,
Yeah.
owning up to your mistakes, and owning up to what you've done.
Yeah.
Those are really, really big life lessons for me.
Yeah. I guess I'm going to take it back a little bit just as we sum up, but with what you do as a social worker and what you must see for yourself within that, how important is it for these people, children, kids, younger youth ages, to have people that are inspiring around them and believe in them? How important is that?
It's just, well, it is hugely important. I mean, to start off, I mean, over the past 10 years, there's been over 1,000 youth services cut.
Yeah.
So opportunities out there for youth to actually have their own environment is so low right now.
Yeah.
But to kind of put it in a few sentences, young people are the future. How are you gonna provide opportunity
Yeah.
or allow them to be the future if we're not helping them, we're not guiding them, we're not supporting them?
Yeah.
Because yeah, they have education, yeah, but education can't teach you the finer life social skills because it's not built, it's not constructed that way. Equally, teachers do not have enough time to do it because the classes are so overwhelmed at the
Yeah.
moment. But then, whereas like youth work, you have that more one-to-one interpersonal relationship. It's voluntary, so 9 times out of 10, a young person is there because they want to be there and because they need to be there. I think that's the key thing for youth work, is that it's voluntary. Every young person you work with, they have come to that facility because they need it or want it.
Yeah.
And that's why you have those interpersonal conversations. Um, and equally, I think the last thing I'll say on it is everyone needs someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And that goes throughout life, whether you're 14, 15, or whether you're 30, 40, 50.
Yeah.
But it's so important for them to have it at that age because that's where they're finding themselves and finding who they are, but becoming self-aware.
Yeah.
I know self-awareness at that age is kind of hard concept to grasp, but
Yeah.
they don't know that yet.
Yeah.
Because they are molding themselves to become who they are.
Yeah, it's exactly like when I did work early in the year for Diana Award, and we worked in schools doing mentoring with kids to help them get into educational further employment, and because they were deemed that they would leave at 16 and not go into anything, or go into jobs that they probably wouldn't want to do, not meaningless jobs, just jobs that actually were just there for that reason, just take them out of education. And Diana always said the same thing, that about children have the power to change, or younger generations have the power to change the world, and that was her belief, and that was really powerful, and it's exactly the same as what you just shared there. So I really appreciate you sharing that. Thank you. Where can people connect with you, Bradley?
So I prefer using LinkedIn at the moment. So
Okay.
it's my name, Bradley Hession.
Yep.
If people haven't got LinkedIn, my personal social is, I'm going to slowly turn that into a positive coaching social, hopefully. So
Brilliant.
Bradley D Hess is the
Amazing.
Instagram.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Being Confident from Within. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and it inspired you in trusting no matter what happens in any particular situation, you'll be able to handle it and learn from the outcome. I really love hearing from you, so please leave a review and let me know which part of the episode resonated with you the most. Have an amazing day.